He finally got what he always wanted. The dragon trusted him. The village accepted him. The war was over. And somehow, that's exactly when he had to let everything go. Most people think How to Train Your Dragon is a story about friendship. A boy meets a dragon. They change each other's lives. They save the world. The end. But that's not what this story is really about. Because beneath the dragons, the battles, and the adventure. This is a story about one of the hardest things a human being can ever do. Knowing when to release something you love. And that's where the story quietly changes. Because letting go sounds simple. Until the thing you're letting go of has become part of who you are. For most of his life, Hiccup never belonged. He was the son of a chief. Yet he wasn't strong. He wasn't feared. He wasn't respected. Everywhere he looked, there was an expectation he could never meet. The people around him valued power, strength, and tradition. But Hiccup saw the world differently. And when you're different in a place that rewards sameness, you spend years wondering if something is wrong with you. Most people know this feeling. Maybe you've walked into rooms where nobody understood you. Maybe you've spent years trying to become someone else just to be accepted. Maybe you've looked at yourself and thought, if I could just change this one thing, maybe people would finally see me. Hiccup understands that feeling. Which is why meeting Toothless changes everything. Not because he finds a dragon. But because for the first time, he finds something that sees him exactly as he is. The scene where Hiccup first approaches the injured Night Fury seems simple. A boy approaches a wounded creature. A moment of mercy. A moment of trust. But psychologically, something much deeper is happening. For the first time, Hiccup is standing in front of something he has every reason to fear. And instead of controlling it, he chooses understanding. Most people miss what this scene is doing. The dragon isn't just toothless. The dragon represents everything unknown inside ourselves. The parts we're taught to fear. The parts we're told to suppress. The parts that don't fit. And instead of killing the dragon, Hiccup learns to listen to it. You may have done the opposite. Many people spend years fighting themselves, fighting their emotions, their fears, their desires, and their identity. Trying to destroy the very thing that needs compassion. The dangerous part is, sometimes the enemy isn't inside you. Sometimes the enemy is the belief that you must destroy parts of yourself to be loved. And Hiccup begins discovering another way. As their friendship grows, something remarkable happens. Toothless gains freedom. But so does Hiccup. Every flight scene feels magical. But psychologically, they're not about flying. They're about becoming. When Hiccup rides Toothless through the clouds, he's experiencing something every human being craves: alignment. For once, who he is internally matches what he's expressing externally. No mask. No performance. No pretending. Just freedom. And that's why those scenes feel emotional even decades later. Because they're not showing us what flight looks like. They're showing us what authenticity feels like. Most people spend their lives searching for that feeling. A relationship. A career. A purpose. A place where they no longer have to hide. A place where they can finally breathe. But every meaningful story eventually asks a painful question. What happens when the thing that saved you can no longer stay? This is where many stories end. The heroes win. Everyone stays together. Nothing changes. But life doesn't work like that. And neither does this story. As the trilogy progresses, Hiccup and Toothless become inseparable. Their identities intertwine. Their journeys become one. Which is exactly why the ending hurts. Not because they stop loving each other. But because they don't. And that's what makes it unbearable. One of the most misunderstood truths about love is this: love and possession are not the same thing. Real love asks whether you're willing to prioritize someone's freedom over your comfort. The farewell scene between Hiccup and Toothless is one of the most emotionally mature moments in modern animation. On the surface, nothing dramatic happens. No betrayal. No death. No hatred. Just goodbye. And somehow that's worse. Because most people are prepared for loss caused by tragedy. What we're not prepared for, is loss caused by growth. In the end, How to Train Your Dragon isn't really about dragons. It's about us. It's about every person who has struggled to belong, every person who found something that made them feel understood, and every person who eventually had to say goodbye. The goal of love is not ownership. The goal of love is transformation. And sometimes, letting go isn't the end of love. It's the final proof of it.